of this race, and anything can happen in 4 hours, so it's all very exciting right now.
Well, hello everybody. I'm back after my break in about 14 cups of coffee. And speaking of Addy, I've just bumped into Dindo Capello actually when I was on break and had a quick chat with him, and he said they're in an interesting situation at the moment because they're having to push very, very hard to stay in front of the Peugeot number 4, but at the same time they don't feel that they can actually catch number 1. So he said it's a very interesting situation they're in where they can't really fight for a place above them, but they must push like they are in order to avoid losing the place they're in, and all they can do is hope that maybe some ill fate comes up to Alexander Wirtz.
But I wonder if Audi would have dreamt on after qualifying on Thursday that they could be in this situation on Sunday morning.
I think surely not. They couldn't have believed that they would be up in front. It's still all to play for. We'll be back with you soon. We're just going to a quick break. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Eurosport. I'm Stuart Hall, joined with Liz Halliday and Mark Cole. Mark, you have some information for us.
Yeah, we've just been scrolling through all the help we've been given by dailysportscar.com. Thank you, guys. Just confirmation of Giancarlo Fisichella's accident earlier on. Told them I had brake failure, which is after his trip down the escape road. Highcroft, we're told now it's water pressure problems. They've had a lot of problems with the alarm going off over that. They thought it was an alarm sensor, but they've now discovered that it is in fact water pressure problems, so they're having a major rebuild of the water systems there. The Lamborghini, the J-Lock Lamborghini, is now an official retirement. We're going for an interview.
Olivier Pan est après du problème pendant la nuit. Maintenant ça marche bien avec la voiture.
Oui, tout se passe bien. C'est dommage.
So big problems for you in the night, Olivier?
Sur le podium, mais en tout cas, toute l'équipe attaque.
We're not going to make the podium now, he says.
Donc on va rien lâcher jusqu'à la fin, et puis on fera les comptes à la fin.
We're doing everything we can to just climb back up through the rankings.
Dans la voiture après le relais de Nicolas, et puis on va essayer de pousser vraiment.
I'm going to be getting back in the car soon.
Ouais, c'est quoi le maximum ici?
Then I'll drive to the end, get a good result hopefully. At the moment we're fifth. Bearing in mind all the retirements we've had so far, let's see what sort of result we can get. So Olivier walks off into the sunset there, and we haven't seen much of him in the race, have we, Liz? He's been, it seems to have been Nick Lapierre who's done the bulk of the driving while we've been on, and I was actually thinking this morning, where's Olivier?
I think maybe Olivier's been on the same shifts or opposite shifts to us, hasn't he? I think we've just missed him in our little, so to speak, driver changes we've had up here. So some other information, I ran into Tiff Nadell when I was down on my break, and he's been doing some filming for the number 11 car, and he was asking me, he said, they're not going to get black flagged, are they, if they don't quite make their limit for their amount of driving they need to have? He said they've made the 50% at 9 a.m. He said, but they might not make it to the race finish. And I said, no, I don't think they'll black flag you, but a lot of teams quit. And he said, well, we're not a lot of teams. They want to carry on, they want to finish the race. I've just spoken to another team member on my way back over here, and he said as long as they can keep it running, they are going to keep it going to the checkered flag unless someone stops them, some man beast or other creation tries to stop them. So they are fighting strong, the Drayson Racing crew.
Well, fighting talk there, as you say, but we have Roman Dumas coming into the pits in the number 9 leading Audi. A little bit of a lock-up into the pit lane, but so that shows they are pushing awfully hard. Looks to me like he's handing over to Mike Rockenfeller now, so that will be full service, tyres, driver and fuel, and they'll head the number 9 car back out on his way.
That'll be lots of time to push for Mike Rockenfeller. That's definitely closing up a little bit here on the front runners. And I can see Alan McNish still pushing as hard as he can, trying to catch that Peugeot of Alexander Wirtz. But I think it's really going to be a struggle for them to upset the top 3 at the moment. It's all going to be down to whether or not something goes wrong. And it still could happen. We've got a good 4 hours left to the end of this race. There's still very much to play for, isn't there, Mark?
Yes, indeed, that absolutely is, and it's just going to be so exciting now, isn't it? We've got at least 2.5 Grands Prix to go. Good news for Jean Lacey lovers, talking of Grand Prix. That car is back in the running now. It's in 4th place after those front-end repairs. As we heard, Giancarlo Fisichella had brake failure, went straight on the escape road. They had to rebuild the whole front of the car. In fact, they were using every single type of widget and gadget to knit it together. A lot of fiberglass damage, carbon fiber damage at the front there. That car now in 22nd place overall, Anthony back in 4th in class. John Lacey at the wheel. He's behind Richard Leeds for Porsche, Dominic Farnbacher for the Felbermayr Ferrari, and Timo Scheider, the 2 times DTM champion, driving in the 97 Porsche.
Of course, that number 77 car still leading this race. I ran into Mark Lieb and he looked very, very tired. In fact, that's pretty much the only words he could figure out, was under the dark circles in his eyes. He just said, "I'm so tired, we're double stinting." He said the car is very, very difficult to drive. They're trying as hard as they can to keep it up in front and keep hold of the lead. But I think that's important for the viewers to know, is that the GT2 cars are just as difficult, if not more difficult sometimes, than the LMP cars. Most, I would say none of them are triple stinting. They're all doing double stints. And when I said, "Oh, are you not doing any triples?" Having a bit of a prototype blonde moment there, because I've only driven prototypes here. And he looked at me a bit silly and went, no, we don't triple stint these cars. And I thought, well, of course, I've driven GT cars. I know how difficult they are, but you just sort of think the way you know at Le Mans. And certainly they are working just as hard as the guys at the front of the grid.
Well, sorry, Mark.
After you.
You always think with, they always say that the prototype's a more physical car to drive because of the G-forcing load, but what you don't understand in the GT car is you've got, most of the time, you've got a big front engine in front of you. It's very, very, very hot inside. The car's moving around an awful lot. There's not a massive amount of downforce, so you're always working at the wheel. You never really have a time to rest, which means, you do get very tired very quickly.
Right, just looking at the number 1 car, incidentally, going back out. Alex Wirtz at the wheel. He took over at the last stop from Anthony Davidson. Now, Anthony Davidson has been cornered. We got hold of him finally. He said, "They told me to push, so I pushed like hell." Everybody's blaming me for the incident with the Corvette, but it was absolutely his fault. It was Manu's fault. I went for the inside, I had the racing line, and there was no contact. That's what he's been telling Daily Sports Car. On going off the track to make an overtake, you remember he ran off onto the red section going down on the Mulsanne straight, for which he got a warning. He said, "I don't care, I'm a racing driver, I'm here to win, not to finish third."
No, I think that's exactly the attitude you need. I mean, and it's not going to, well, as we all know, it's never your own fault, is it? You're never going to blame yourself. But really, that was a racing incident. He has been told to push. There's no point putting blame, He's out there pushing. He's out there trying to win Le Mans for Peugeot, and he's going to do absolutely, he's a racer, he's going to do absolutely everything he possibly can do to do that.
And speaking of that same car, that number 1 car, I've just heard from Jeremy Shaw over here, one of our co-commentators, that that car has actually made its 2nd pit stop in about 7 laps. So that is not good news. There could be a problem there. They're still holding on to 3rd place, but that would be exactly what the car of Alan McNish wants to happen. So we're going to have to watch this space and see what happens there.
It was the previous stop was 11 laps, I think, and that one was 7. Jeremy's telling us. Yeah, so that is it's getting. Perhaps they've got a fuel pickup problem.
They could. We've got no idea. We'd only be speculating, but we'll just have to wait and see. But certainly this is going to be the chance that maybe the number 7 car would have, and certainly Audi is going to know exactly what's going on, and they're going to be on the radio saying, "Come on, Alan, keep pushing."
Can you imagine, Liz? Peugeot started this race 1, 2, 3, 4. Audi could finish it 1, 2, 3. I mean, can you imagine that would be one of the biggest upsets in the history of this race?
I can't say I would be upset. I love them both. I love all the guys in all the cars, but I think it would be an awesome take back for Audi.
And just going on, Bert's coming into the pits again. There is a little bit of bodywork flapping on that car, which did come off on the Mulsanne straight. So
if you remember, they'd been putting tank tape on that side of the car, so it's probably that coming off. Down to the pits.
Romain, la voiture marche impeccable.
Oui, elle marche, oui.
The car's going really well, Romain. Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
C'est un peu délicat, mais en fait on fait ça depuis le début de la course, donc on a notre rythme.
We've got everything we need to take this fight against Peugeot. We're doing our best to go even quicker though.
Maintenant on prend un peu plus de risques parce qu'on essaie de tenir jusqu'au bout, mais on fait ce qu'on peut.
Big problems passing traffic. It's just struggling to get by some of it.
4 heures qui restent, donc vous êtes en tête de course. Il y a une dangereuse. Le Peugeot c'est trop vite pour vous.
Ouais, la Peugeot est très rapide maintenant, vous savez. C'est très long. Merci.
He said, well, Peugeot are going quickly, but we're fairly confident we can stay there. Well, he's going to say that, isn't he, of course, because I guess at the end of the day they could just push forward. There's Olivier Canal, the sporting director of Peugeot. Not a happy day for him, Liz.
No, it hasn't been. I think it's been really difficult for them, but certainly I think Romain Dumas has got to be quite happy. their number 1 Audi and number 2, which is going to be a good little buffer there, isn't it, between that last remaining Peugeot, and then obviously between the next Peugeot in line we have another little buffer there of Alan McNish, who is in fact just coming down pit lane, I think. In just a moment, I think we're going to switch over to Eurosport International for all of you viewers, so make sure that you move over with us. And here comes Alan McNish down pit lane, number 7 car. As this looks like just a routine stop. We've got tyres lined up and ready, so I think we'll be doing a driver change. Yes, we are.
Yeah, that'll go back to Tom Christensen. He hasn't been in the car for some time. So, as Liz said, we are going to be changing channels, so don't start throwing your toys at the TV set. We will still be live, uninterrupted. Just look for the Le Mans signal on whichever Eurosport channels you've got. We're not 100% sure with you, but we're certainly joining Eurosport International. So at the moment, this is Liz Halliday, Stuart Hall, Mark Cole and Chris Parsons here from Le Mans Live. Well, let's have a look, see what's been going on in this race here today. 4 Peugeots starting at the front of the grid, and that all went wrong very quickly on. Right, just scrolling through the field at the moment, looking at who the leaders are. We just saw Mike Rockenfeller in the Audi. This is the Harry Leventis driven Stracker leading LMP2 at the moment. And in GT1, here we are. This is the Celine, the car everybody loves. Gabriel Gardel still at the wheel of that car. It's, of course, underneath all that, it is a Ford, so even though Ford GTs might have gone out, we still have a Ford-powered Celine leading GT1. Last time we'll see that category. And here, in the Felbermeyer Porsche factory driver Wolf Hensler, 15th overall, leading GT2 after one of the most extraordinary GT2 battles we have ever seen here at Le Mans.
I think we've seen 3 different manufacturers swap it around in GT2 already. So we've gone from Ferrari, Corvette down to Porsche. So it's looking like Porsche might be able to pull this out of the bag.
Yeah, and they've been so desperate to do this. Twice beaten by Ferrari in the last 2 years by Rizzi Competizione. They went out fairly early on. Rizzi had such a dreadful race, didn't they? Still with you on Eurosport 2, looking at the moment at the Hankook Farnbacher car. This is the Ferrari in 2nd place, and Liz, this is the car that also took 2nd at the Nürburgring 24 hours just 2 weeks ago.
It is, what an accomplishment. I mean, especially for the team and for the car. This is a testament to what this team can do, because most teams, after completing a 24-hour race, especially one as difficult as the Nürburgring 24 hours, would do an entire car rebuild. It would be a major process, and just to turn it around that fast, to come here and be this competitive at the Le Mans 24 hours, the biggest 24-hour race in the world, it's a really big testament to Ferrari and to all of the boys that have worked hard there.
I mean, if the Porsche heads only got to have a problem and they could pull off the double, that would be something for Hankook tyres.
That would be incredible, yeah. I mean, one of our smaller tyre manufacturers here, but there are a few cars running on Hankook, and over the last couple of years, that tyre manufacturer has really found great leaps and bounds in sports car racing, and it's nice to see them so successful with a car like Ferrari.
It is, Liz, and that car going very, very well, as we see the number 97 Porsche 997 GT3 RSR with DTM racer Timo Schneider at the wheel. Now he's a debut, it was his first Le Mans, and doing a very, very good job. They're 3rd in class.
Absolutely, and this has clawed its way back up through the rankings as well. Not too long ago, we were seeing the whole front of the field dominated by Corvette, followed by Ferrari, who then lost out. Then it was Porsche, and now Porsche is clawing its way back up, as we have said. Number 25 car, the RML car, going back out of pit lane. They've had a few problems, but are also working their way back up. They've made their way back into podium contention. So this is exactly what long-time Le Mans racer Andy Wallace wants to see, isn't it?
Wouldn't it be lovely to see Andy Wallace on the podium? He certainly deserves it. Those guys have done a sterling job throughout the race. They're running 3rd now at the expense of the Highcroft Racing Acura that I think is still in the pits, which is a great shame for them, but Good for the RML boys, another British team.
Another huge moment there for Oak Racing, currently in second place. This is one of the Pescarolo cars. Both of those Pescarolos still running, which I think, like I said earlier, I think is fantastic. It's a bit of a tribute to Henri, since he's not here this year, which I feel he's greatly missed. I think he's a big part of Le Mans, isn't he, Chris?
Oh, tremendous. He's always, the crowds love him, the organisers love him, and the media, of course, absolutely adore him. He is very much part of the race and has been for
40 years, I believe they said.
Years, yes.
I think he only missed one Le Mans, which was purely based upon a fire that he was caught up in, so he actually physically couldn't drive in it. But he's been 40 years either as a driver or an entrant.
And I think he is the driver who started it the most times.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yep.
Wow. God, that's an accomplishment, isn't it? And I heard that he was planning to go fishing this weekend, but I must say he's been next door to us a lot of the time doing some commentary for Eurosport France, I think, so he couldn't stay away.
And when he's not there, I think he's doing a blog for L'Équipe as well. So
yeah, he couldn't resist, could he?
as we keep on saying, this place is a drug. Once you start to come, you just can't stop it.
as we were having shots there of the DBR9 young driver Aston Martin with Thomas Enger at the wheel, that car is slowly clawing back on Gabriel Gardel in the Celine. Still 5 laps down though, but in the last 40 minutes it's clawed another lap back. So tough ask to try and win that class, but anything can happen. We still have over 3.5 hours of racing to go here at Le Mans. And
certainly in GT1 we've seen it swap it up just as much as we have in GT2. I think those have been the two classes where the most turnarounds have been, really, and we're seeing, you know, some of the older cars like the Celine really hanging on to the top position. It's really going to be sad to miss GT1. See, we've only got 3 cars left in the class, so I do think maybe the ACO is right. Maybe these cars aren't really durable enough for this sort of racing anymore, but it will be sad to see them go, won't it, Stuart?
It certainly will. They are wonderful cars. I know we've both had the privilege to drive a number of them, and they're a great car. Especially my favourite is the DBR9. It sounds beautiful, it looks beautiful, and you know, it's just a pleasure to drive.
I agree. I still remember the first day I ever drove the DBR9, and I fired up the engine in pit lane and was like, oh yeah, it's just awesome. There's nothing better than that engine.
A couple of years ago at Sebring, I bought the most lovely bookmark, which is a clear picture of a DB9 in profile, and it is just everyone's idea of what a GT car should look like.
I agree. I think it is the epitome of GT1 car, and just the sound, the shape, everything about it, and quite a tricky car to drive actually. It's a bit loose, but definitely something of a special car to drive. And in fact, it looks like we're going to get an interview from one of the drivers of the Aston Martin. We're going to have an interview with Peter Cox, and we are going to head down there now with Sebastian and Peter Cox.
Peter Cox, you're second in the GT1 category. It's a question of survival here.
Well, survival, yes, as always, but we still try to push, you know. We had a problem in the beginning of the race, unfortunately. Now the Aston Martin is running really well, and we just try to take as much time out of the Celine as possible, and hope they have a problem or a mistake, you know. In my stint, the driver went off as well, so if we keep putting pressure, maybe something will happen and we can still win the race.
Called the young driver Aston Martin. Where does that come from?
Sorry?
Your car is called the young driver Aston Martin. Where does that come from?
I don't know. You have to ask the team.
Okay, but what's the plan for the rest of the day? You're going back into the car?
No, as I said, we try to do as fast as safe laps as possible and see if the race will come to us. It's still a few hours to go, so everything can still happen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Interview with Peter Cox. I'm not sure whether you viewers got any of that. We certainly didn't, and I'm no lip reader, but I'm sure he was saying we're pushing very hard and trying to get on terms, but it's going to be a bit of a tough ask.
He looked pretty chirpy. He looked like they were feeling a bit better about being back up there, at least in a slightly fighting position, albeit about 5 laps away from that Celine. But all it would take is for something else to happen to the Celine. We've seen it have a little blip already today. If anything went wrong, they would be waiting to pounce. So I'm sure they've been pushing as hard as they can. A new fast lap for Darren Turner's car. That is the 009 Aston Martin, the petrol leading car, if we say our little subclass, our own subclass of the petrol cars in LMP1. Still running in 6th place, and he's just done the quickest time for that car in this race.
Also, sorry Stuart, also the fastest lap for the car with Andre Lotterer in the number 2 car number 8 car in second place. Got my words the wrong way around. But yes, he set a 3:21.5, so their best lap. So they really are pushing on to keep ahead of the Peugeot with Alexander Wurz in it.
Darren Turner has actually gone 3 seconds quicker than he did in qualifying. So that car is going really, really, really well at the moment. And Darren Turner really trying to eke out that gap on Christian Backrad. We're going to go to a break and we'll be back with you fairly soon.
Welcome back to the Le Mans 24 Hours 2010 live here on Eurosport. And it's all been going on in all these classes, especially in GT2, where there's been a huge turnaround. We've lost both of the Corvette Racing Corvettes. And I've got here a quote from race program manager Doug Feehan. He says, unfortunately, it appears to be an engine failure. This is the number 63 car, I believe. Our first in 11 years of racing at Le Mans, says Doug Feehan. We'll get the car back, take it apart, determine what the problem was, resolve it, and move forward. The engine was running perfectly 1 minute and then not perfectly the next. Now, this is a huge, huge smack for Corvette. I mean, like he says, their first failure. Oh, it's just shocking, isn't it? And we're going to go down to the pits quickly for an interview with Mark Lieb, also in GT2.
Mark Lieb, you're leading the GT2 category. Finally, there's a lot of things happening in this category. How is it going for you guys?
At the moment, it's going very well. The cars are running fine. We can do consistent lap times, but it's still 3 hours and 45 minutes to go.
What about your program? Are you going to climb back into the car later because you're already in, not in a real race suit here?
Yeah, I just have enough time, you know, I can relax. We're doing double stints, so Richie just got out of the car, now it's smooth. And then the last 2 hours, I'm in the car.
Okay, you're 2 laps ahead of the Ferrari. Does it change your strategy? Are you trying to keep it safe?
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to keep it safe. We're not going maximum attack anymore like we did in the night when we were chasing the Corvettes. We have to look after the car a little bit now, but it's a strange feeling. We are all very nervous.
I guess especially after last year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last year the race was finished very early, and this year we have a really good chance to win it. So hopefully we can do it.
Okay, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Mark Lieb really hoping to win this class this year, and it is so stressful at this time in the race because you feel like you're almost to the finish, but you're still quite a ways off, and so much of sports car racing and endurance racing is luck. I mean, it really does come down to the machinery you have, and everyone can work hard, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and we're just seeing some of the debris on the track really starts to heat up at this time of day, doesn't it, Stuart?
It does. There's so much debris offline. Everyone's getting a bit tired. Mistakes are creeping in. This is the part of the race where you really do need to focus, and you really do need to have your wits about you, because it's the place where you can really lose it.
And there are a lot of cars out there. Mark was just telling me that there are 22 retirements out of the 55 starters, so we've still got 33 cars out there. That's a lot of overtaking, a lot of being forced offline, and picking up all that debris on the road.
Funnily enough, though, that'll start to feel almost empty to some of these drivers who are used to having the full 55 in qualifying. And it's funny because when you've had a little bit of a break and you've been driving and you have maybe a few hours off and you get back in, and when you've lost quite a few cars, you do sort of start to notice it, and you think, wow, I'm not getting past as much or passing as much on the straights, and it's almost a little bit depressing because you start to realize they're dropping off, and you start to think, oh gosh, I hope it's not going to be my car.
But also it's actually a nice time of day because there is less traffic out there. The circuit's really rubbered in, and as we're seeing with guys like Darren Turner, they're pulling in some stunningly quick laps right at this time, and it must be a joy to drive.
Absolutely, it's great to be lower on traffic, no doubt about that. But certainly I know this time of day you're starting to get really tired. I remember driving towards the end of the 2006 race and so many problems. Oh, we've got a slow moving car on track. This is disaster. This is the Straka racing car. Thankfully, he's right in front of pit lane. It is Nick Leventis at the wheel. This is the car owner, team owner even. We're going to have to wait and see what the problem is. Hopefully, it's nothing too detrimental. They do have a little bit of a lead. They've actually got quite a big lead over the Oak Racing car. They've got a 6-lap lead over them. So if they can get this car back out on track soon, he should be all right. Looks like he's going to get out of the car. because he's just undid his water and he'll be taking the radio off soon. So I think we'll see a driver change, and hopefully we'll find out what's going on.
Yeah, big news for Stacker Racing, because we thought they had it sewn up, but again, there's still 3.5 hours to go. So you know, they'll fuel it, they'll tire it, then they'll investigate what sort of problem is. We see Nick Leventis getting out, Johnny Kane getting in. Johnny Kane, part of the BRDC marathon team with Ollie Gavin, another sub 3-hour marathon runner. So he's certainly fit enough to drive one of these cars.
Absolutely. Another class leader has just come in for pits. That is the Celine number 50. Looks like they are not doing a driver change. I think they purely just given the driver some water. So Gabriel Gardel looks to be staying in the car. Looks routine. They've cleaned the windscreen. Should be firing up the engine in a minute and back out on track. So that car seems to be running all right at the moment, but I don't want to give it the curse of the commentator, so I'm not going to say too much. And
we're trying to look out of our window here. We got it on screen now. The Johnny Kane Stracker Racing Acura, bit of a long stop. They seem to be changing over some water. Maybe this is just precaution because they do have a 10-lap lead. They can afford to go about things a little bit slowly and a little bit more methodically. So we'll see 6-lap lead. Sorry, not 10-lap, it's 6-lap. Cool. It has been a long night, but we're now looking at. I think that's the number 30. Is that number 35? No. No, it's not. I think that's the
one of 20, the Oak Racing cars.
The 24 Oak Racing car. That car's not a threat to the Stracker car. That's the gentleman driver car, I think. But the Oak Racing 35 car is a threat. 6 laps down, so hopefully just a routine check-up for the Stracker car and it'll be out soon.
Well, I have to say, they don't look very panicked, so I'm wondering if maybe Nick himself just let off a little bit on his way into pit lane. It's hard to say, really. We just don't really know, but they don't seem to be too panicked, so hopefully this is not an issue.
Johnny Kane's in there very calmly indeed, just waiting to get the call to go out. Maybe just taping a bit of loose bodywork. We did see, in fact, that he did have a little bit of contact with Romain Dumas at the Ford chicane, so just precautionally taping up the bodywork, making sure it doesn't disperse going down the straight or anything like that to cause an accident.
It seems to be a remarkably relaxed pit stop, in fact, when all the panic when he came in, that they don't seem to be doing very much at all.
I think it's possible that maybe Nick just came in a little bit quieter. Maybe he was even low on fuel. We don't really know. Oh no, this is a disaster. Number 15. This is one of the coolest Audi cars. Christian Backerud. Yes, this is not good. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Do you know where it is, Stuart?
No, it's a gravel bed at the moment.
Yeah. Well, which gravel bed is a big question.
I thought it was Indianapolis.
It looks like the gravel bed in Indianapolis. I was just thinking that because it is a really big wide one, and a very common place to go off at this time in the day, actually, when you never know what could happen there. But this is a real disaster for them. They'd been running, really right up there in the top 10. They're running in 7th place, so really not what we want to be happening this close to the end.
But hopefully, if there's not too much damage, the tracks will come along. It is Indianapolis. It's the same sort of place where Giancarlo Fisichella went off, but just he hit the tyres properly and Fisichella didn't. But hopefully they'll be able to tow that car out. Those R10s are very, very strong. So the Audi boys will be able to, well, the Collers Audi boys will probably be able to rebuild that in a number of seconds.
Doesn't look like it's been a big impact, does it? And thankfully, I think the gravel bed has done its job there. I mean, that is why we have the gravel beds, obviously, is to help slow these cars down from speed, because he would have been coming in at a huge amount of pace into that turn and braking very, very hard. So he's been lucky there, I think, and hopefully it's going to get him back. Now the job will be not spreading that gravel across the whole racing line.
And just had a word in my ear from Jeremy Shaw, who's in the booth, saying, was the 15 car chasing down 009? Was he actually pushing a little bit too hard and went off? But there seems to be very little damage. As long as he's kept the engine going, or can get the engine going, he should be able to get that one back. In fact, there seems to be no damage at all.
Yes, a rare mistake this race from the number 15 Audi. They've been running very, very well, and thankfully not too much damage. And 1 lap behind the Darren Turner 009 Aston Martin, so he was chasing, but Darren's probably 5-6 seconds a lap quicker than Backerud at the moment. So Darren, as we see gravel being spread everywhere, again that's more debris on the circuit, more punches.
Aston Martin will be breathing a little bit easier at the moment. And there's the sister car.
The maimed Audi in the car graveyard that we have going on here at Le Mans. Such a depressing sight. Number 24 car coming in for a pit stop. This is not the car running in second place, but in fact the other car, which is currently running in 5th place, I believe, in LMP2. They've had a pretty decent run, and I think we are going to be lucky enough to have a interview with Nick Leventis, and we're going down to the pits now to speak with him. Straka Racing.
Nick Leventis, you're just coming out of the car. How did it go?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, when Highcroft went out, we backed off the pace a little bit. Unfortunately, I had a puncher on the in-lap, but yeah, it's good. We're just trying to take it easy and make it to the end of the race.
Benny, what I suppose you're taking the wheel the next time, the last stint. What is the program until the end of the race?
It's to just solely stay out of trouble. You can see in the last few hours that a lot of cars have gone off and caused damage and spinning and cutting across the gravel beds. So I think it's just a case of being really disciplined now. Really look after the car, nurse it home. We've got a few laps advantage, so there's no need for heroics at this stage.
We just saw the crew nursing the car really well with a lot of gaffer tape. Is that the first part of it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's been through a hell of a ride, hasn't it, through the night and since 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So anything we can to make it doubly sure, you know, we'll do it. So it's had a bit of oil, fresh tyres now for Johnny. And yeah, I mean, the clock's still ticking. There's a long way to go, so we're not counting our chickens just yet.
Thank you very much.
I think you're absolutely right there, Chris. They've just done a few little top-ups, made a quick little look over on the car when it came in earlier, just to make sure everything is absolutely spot on. And the best thing that could have happened to this team was to have Highcroft go out, because now they can take a deep breath and just chill out and make sure that they look after that car.
And I know we've seen a huge turnaround in LMP1, but what about LMP2? Straka really have come right at the right time. Of course, Mark Cole and I are very happy because this is our local team. We know quite a few of the people involved in the team, but it really is fabulous. They've had so many problems up till now, and they're off, and they've had a really good Le Mans.
They have so far, but Chris, 3 hours 30 to go. So like Danny Watt said, they're not going to start counting their chickens yet because
the curse of the commentator.
Yeah.
There is a long way to go.
I think they absolutely have the right mindset right now, though. You can tell all 3 of those drivers know what they're doing right, you know, at the moment. I think Nick Leventis did a great job to look after it and keep it out of trouble. He's really just putting in the consistent lap times now, and they all have a job at hand, and that job is to keep hold of that car and bring it through the checkered flag in first place.
Yes, in the middle of the night we were saying that we thought the other drivers would take over and let Nick have a quiet time, and we saw a driver in that car doing very consistent times, and lo and behold, it was Nick in the middle of the night about 2:30. He was going and doing very consistent lap times. They've all held up extremely well.
Well, I think it's nice for Nick. He is the team owner, and it's great. He wants to be there and wants to be driving and wants to be part of it, and I think it's wonderful for them to have held this lead throughout virtually the entire race. I think there was only a quick swap about early on, but they've mostly just kept the charge forward for LMP2, been very strong. And like I say, I think I should stop talking now because I'm worried I'm going to make something happen that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, we'll just leave the Straka Racing to do what they're doing. Let's talk about a Peugeot for a bit, shall we? We're on board the number 1 Peugeot, coming up to the second chicane now with Alex Wirtz on board. Last lap round was a 3-minute 20.004, so they're still trucking on very nicely indeed. And as we see, Tom Christensen now has just done his fastest middle sector of the race, and last lap round he'd done his fastest lap of the race, which was a 3:21.9. So they're trying to come to hunt down Alexander Wirtz as well.
I think as much as that, I think they're trying to keep that gap away from Lapierre because he's really pushing hard. He's been doing a 3:21.4 and Christensen did a 3:21.9. There's not a very big gap between those 2 cars. So like I said, when Dindo Capello spoke to me earlier, he said they have to push very hard just to even keep the position they're in, even though it's currently not a podium position. So an interesting, unique situation they're in.
Well, they've got to try and keep Alexander Wirtz honest as well. And number 7 actually of Christensen has actually been shown the warning flag because he's exceeding track limits. So he's doing all he can to keep Wirtz honest, and hopefully push Wirtz into a mistake that will give Rockenfeller and Lotterer in front of him some breathing space.
I've just noticed something. I don't know if it's already been announced or not, but I'm seeing a retirement on the board. The first of the Lola Astons to be out of the race completely. That is a 008 car. Of Vanina Eeks was in the car at the time. I'm not sure what happened. We saw that car have some impact into a barrier off the second chicane not too long ago. It then managed to get itself back to the pits, but I think perhaps there's been some terminal damage there. So really unfortunate for a team that had run so strongly alongside the 009 and earlier the 007 car.
But yeah, they were doing a very, very good job, and all three drivers were holding their own. And that car on Dunlop tyres, not Michelin, so slightly different setup to the works cars, but doing a very, very good job in their own.
Yeah, absolutely, and nice to see the 007 cars back in action and hasn't actually lost too much. And oh no, we've got a number 8 second place Audi in the tyres. Is that off Arnage? It certainly looks like it.
Arnage,
another
yes.
one caught out by the slippery surface at Arnage, or have they had a problem? This could be disaster for Audi. He's got it going again. We'll see how long they can be in the pits.
And is there much damage? Because he's accelerated off very, very quickly indeed. He may have just outbraked himself.
I think we'll see him pop into the pits probably for a quick look over, but hopefully he'll be able to carry on. But that's so easily done. We're seeing the best of the best even doing it in exactly the same time as Alexander Wirtz has done a fastest sector time of the entire race. Not ideal timing.
So yeah, this is game on. This is Wirtz is just done his second set, done a 3:19.8, and Andre Lotterer has been in the wall. So
suddenly it all comes alive again.
And we're just going to go down to pits for an interview with Baccarat with the Collis Audi.
Christian Baccarat, I think we saw you a little bit off the track. What happened?
Well, we were using some soft tires, which usually we use in the evenings. But again, they were starting to understeer a little bit because the temperature was coming up, and I came into the corner a little bit too fast. And off the line, I don't know if you can see it, there's a lot of stones and things like this, and as soon as you miss the racing line a little bit, then you just understeer off, and that's basically what happened.
You're 7th overall at the moment. Good result for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're with quite an old car here. You know, it's still obviously a car which has won quite a few times, but to be honest, I think we should all be quite pleased. Apart from that little mistake I made, I am quite pleased with the weekend so far.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, as we hear from Christian Baccarat, Andre Lotterer, like you say, Liz, is coming into the pits. This will probably just be an earlier than scheduled routine stop with a change of a nose that will probably take 10-15 seconds with the Audi. Look, you see the Audi boys go to work now. They're well drilled on all this. They'll have been practicing this from the start of the week in the workshop, so they know exactly what they're doing. You see the old nose coming off now. A little bit of a struggle to get it off, but we'll see a new nose coming on now, hopefully. So it suggests there's no suspension damage. Always getting caught in an air hose as well. It's going from bad to worse for Audi at the moment. But yeah, that nose going on fine now, and hopefully they can get that car out in front of Alexander Wirtz.
The unfortunate thing here, of course, is he's only 4 laps into his stint, which Jeremy Shaw's just pointed out to me, and that is not good news for them. They don't want to be pitting early, especially with the likes of Alexander Wirtz putting in incredible times, like a 3:19 on his last lap. And you can bet anything that Peugeot is down that radio going, here's your chance, mate. Push that thing as hard as you can, as long as you can keep it on the track. Push it hard. You don't even have to stay on the track all the time. Just make sure it comes back.
And Alexander Wirtz, defending champion here. So he'll know he wants to repeat that, definitely.
All to play for right now. So we'll just see how fast the Audi boys can make this happen. It's back off the jacks. I think we're going to see it making a move very quickly. What a speedy recovery. I don't think we'll see any team here that well prepared who can do that fast of a turnaround when the car has just had an impact with the wall.
No, Audi really are second to none in that, and they have been since they came back into sports cars all those years ago.
Well, we saw much earlier in the week when we had Alan McNish grab hold of the mic and wander us around the Audi pits that they have all their spare packages lined up perfectly so that they can just grab hold of things and put them on as they need to, which is exactly the way you need to be. And look at that, Alexander Wirtz has answered the call from Peugeot and just done another fastest sector time, sector 3 time, the fastest of the race, not just the car.
And we believe that puts him on the same lap as the number 8 car. So the whole thing is coming back right down. 1 minute 54 seconds between the two of them now.
And the fastest lap of the race he's just done.
And there's still 3 hours and 22 minutes to go. So there really is just everything to go for here. The only thing is that the number 9 Audi is still a lap ahead. But they really have to keep themselves on it now.
It's a complete role reversal. The hunters have now become the hunted, and we're seeing a good last 3 hours or so of the race pan out.
The real
no pressure, you do realise.
No pressure on Andrew Lotterer at all.
No.
He's now just put the pressure on himself by having that bit of an off, and now it's going to be, right mate, off you go, push as hard as you can, because, by the way, Alexander Wirtz has just done the best lap of the entire race, and he's not far off, so time to find something special in that Audi.
There's not a moment's break here. Unbelievable. You nip off for a quick cup of coffee and all hell breaks loose. Phenomenal push by Peugeot. They're still on the march here, and Alexander Wirtz is heading for second place. There is the number 1 car. They've not given any quarter, no matter whose hands this number 1 car has been in, and this skirmish is going to go right down to the wire. Nobody can quite predict it. There's been a lot of questions about the range of the Peugeots when they are running on full juice as they are now, but look at this, they're absolutely well, they will be side by side in just a few moments time, one can only assume. He's just approaching the back of Lotterer.
Behind it. Is it Lotterer?
Yes, I believe so.
So this is for position.
It is for position, absolutely.
Not going to hand that over in a hurry,
No, he's not. He's seen him within sight. They've been getting closer and closer to each other right now on course. This is unbelievable.
And they're just coming down into Arnaud's corner. He's just about to unlap himself, I believe we've just been told.
My bad, sorry, I was getting a bit overexcited on that, as Jeremy's just pointed out.
He's still not going to hand it over, is he?
No, he doesn't even want to give position, but he's snaking now. The Peugeot is, I wonder if he's got some kind of issue. I'm wondering if he's actually, surely it can't be a fuel issue at this point.
No, he may have picked up some debris on his tyres. Places like Arnage and Indianapolis, we've seen many cars go off, and there's all sorts of stuff over the circuit. So if you do run wide,
they've been told to just go absolutely flat out. I think basically all cards on the table. It's all in poker parlance for Peugeot at this point. You can see they're just at the moment looking at very loose all over the racetrack here. This is fantastic racing and exactly what we need. And who would have believed it? We could get to this point when you had a look last night. There's been so many turnings of the page here. There'll be more stories to be told here as they come back onto the start-finish straight, and everybody leans out to watch them come by here as they head up the hill towards Dunlop.
Carlton, that is for position.
It is for position.
That is Andre Lotterer. So this is race on.
But it absolutely is. They are racing right now. As soon as he got a view of him, he knew that this was the moment. The screens telling their own fibs here, but they come across the line, and this is for second place. It's a battle for second place in the 24 hours of Le Mans. Out front, we've got the Rockefeller on the 9 car at the moment, but this is Lotterer under all kinds of pressure from Alexander Wirtz, and this push is going to go very deep into this lap.
This is what it's all about in sports car racing at this level with these top teams and top drivers. Here we are so far into this 24-hour race when so many cars have fallen by the wayside, and here we are having a race for position only just 3 hours from the end of a 24-hour race.
And you wait until you see the straight line speed of the Peugeot. The Peugeot is look at the rate of knots it's catching Lotterer in a straight line. There's now 4 of these to come this lap, these straight lines. So Lotterer's going to have his defending head on right now.
It seems that whenever it gets to a little technical section, when it gets a little bit twisty, the Peugeot's just got its work cut out here. But we're straight lining right now, and let's see that Audi. Don't forget, a bit flat-fronted. It punches a big hole in the air. And you just feel as we cut away once more, we're getting back on board. We're just losing pictures, I think, on the relay, and there they are side by side, and this is for second place, and it looks like he's there. They're coming into the chicane. They've got to be so careful as they go into here, and he does. He keeps it sensible for once, thank goodness, not getting airborne, and the 1 car moves into second place as of now. Traffic ahead of them. Superb racing, and great that Peugeot have just taken the bit between their teeth, and they are running with this one.
I think that would have been the one time that Andrew Lotterer would have been praying for traffic on that straight. He would have been praying that something anything, could have stopped that Peugeot, but the charge it gives in a straight line so much quicker, there was nothing he could do.
Earlier on in the race we saw as they got to that point, here is the pass now on board from the Peugeot #1 car, living up to its number. And when we got to this, after I thought we were back with live pictures, but we're not. Still, this is the move, and using even, he may well even get called for just extending off the track there. That's been on occasion they have actually been called for that, but both teams as well, Audi and Peugeot, such is the pace that they've carried through this race so far.
Now, Jeremy's just had a word in my ear. It seems the Wirtz car is due for a pit stop, so they are out of sequence, although Andre Lotterer had to come in and make a very early stop because of his little misdemeanor at Arnage. The Wirtz car has one more stop to make, I believe. So it's not as close as we think at the moment, but you know, that number one Peugeot is closing fast.
Well, they definitely would have fueled Andrew Lotterer when he came in, even though he'd only been out for 4 laps. I'm sure they would have fueled him up, so he will have virtually a full stint's worth of fuel to go, which is going to be very useful for him if Alexander Wirtz is about to pit. But still, Audi's not going to want to give that away either way. Number 9, the race leader, has just come into the pits. I think this is routine. Don't see any stressful looking actions in the Audi pit.
So yeah, as we see, it's Wirtz in the pits. Jeremy, you're entirely right. That was the lap he was coming into pit, and Andre Lotterer has now retaken second place. But we're going to go down to the pits, and we're going to hear from Andre Lotterer's teammate, Benoit Trillier.
Benoit, we just saw the Peugeot overtaking your car number 8. What does that change for the strategy for the rest of the race?
You know, we have to do our best all the time. We have to do less mistake as possible, go as quick as possible. And sometimes, you know, in Arnage, it's very difficult when you really push hard to feel the grip, and to do a little mistake, it's very quick. So what's happened to Andre can happen to anyone when they chase the other one. So anyway, it's we are still on the podium, and the race is not finished, so we still hope to do a good job.
We saw the team changing the front of the car. What actually happened?
Sorry?
We saw the team changing the front of the car at your car. What was broken?
I think the front bonnet was a little bit damaged, and they changed to make it new.
Okay, when are you going back into the car? Are you going back into the car?
Yeah, I should go back in the car for the last stint or the last 2 stints.
Thank you very much.
Interestingly enough, the last run, the last stint for the number 1 car was 12 laps. So they've managed to find something while keeping the pace. They've got themselves into second place. Even if the race finished right now, I think that would be a huge, huge plaudits for Peugeot. They've battled their way. They've never said die. Audi did exactly the same thing. We saw the race come to Audi. Is it now coming the way of Alexander Wirtz here and the number 1 Peugeot? We've seen it zigzagging ever so slightly on course. I think as it's just got a little bit offline, it's starting to squirrel a little bit out there, Liz.
It is. I think they're having to push very, very hard. And we heard Benoit even saying, you know, sometimes these things happen when you're told to push really hard. So he's even admitted that even the best will make mistakes when they're just under that sort of pressure. And a lot of pressure to be under at this stage in a 24-hour race, Carlton.
Yeah, an awful lot of pressure, Mark. Both teams riding it very, very well indeed. Nobody's been relaxed. Audi didn't exactly celebrate either when Peugeot had their issues. They knew that being out in front, being the head, being chased down by the hounds was always perhaps going to have its issues. And you cannot count on anything here, can you?
No, I mean, but our main problem here is that Lotterer has been prone to making mistakes. He did it at Spa, the opening, even the formation lap at the Spa 1,000 kilometers. He put that car on the wall. Here he is. He makes just a rookie mistake, if you like. I mean, it's a big, big pressure on Lotterer. The only thing that's going in his favour at the moment is the shorter runs the Peugeot is having to make. The last we had 11 laps, 7 laps, then we're back to 12 on the last one, I believe. But they should be able to squeeze 13 out of these fuel tanks.
They should be. They've been as low as 11 when they've been on the push, Peugeot, and even less than that on some of their runs. We'll take a break, back in a moment. Welcome back. You're live to Eurosport. Well, we all thought that the main talking points would be around about the GTs, and that because of the performance differential, as we thought, between the Peugeots and the Audis after qualification, that this would be a tale already told. It has been completely the opposite. We've had plenty to talk about within the GTs, but it's been illuminating from the very first, Jeremy Shaw. This P1 category has been absolutely fascinating, thrilling.
Yeah, it has. It's been very, very interesting, almost exciting, perhaps. I mean, there's certainly been some great memories that I think we will take away from this event. Fascinating contest, as you say, they're going on now. The Alex Wirtz car shares with Anthony Davidson and Mark Genet. They've been turning a series of stunning lap times, absolutely incredible lap times by that car. Earlier on in the race last night, they were doing 13 laps on a tank of diesel fuel. Now they're only getting 12 laps. That's because instead of doing what was then fast lap times around about 3 minutes 22, now they're down to 3 minutes 19, 3 minutes 20 on a fairly regular basis, which is a stunning pace. But you know, even at the pace they're running now, Wirtz is now back up to speed. He's 53 seconds behind Andre Lotterer, and he's more than a lap down still to our race leader, Mike Rockenfeller, in car number 9. And by my reckoning, Rockenfeller and Wirtz, number 9 in the overall race leader, and the chasing Alex Wirtz on similar fuel strategies. So I reckon they've probably got a similar number of fuel stops to the end of the race, which means that it's going to be very, very difficult now, I believe, for Alex Wirtz to catch Mike Rockenfeller. However, he's certainly in with a shot of catching the second place car of Andre Lotterer, at the very least.
Lotterer is going to be so focused now. He's made that mistake, and he doesn't want to be the guy who costs Audi a 1-2 here, and he'll be so focused. He won't make another error now, but how much quicker is this guy? Can he catch him? Just LMP2, just to let you know that Nick Leventis has finished his driving in the LMP2 leading car, brought the car back in with a left rear puncture. They had to change the legality panel at the rear. Johnny Kane's taken it over, and he and Danny Watts, two of the quickest drivers here this weekend, will do the rest of the driving.
I think crucially what they now have amongst Peugeot is a belief. First they had disappointment, then they had hope, and now they've got belief. They have worked their way back into this one, Jeremy, and they are totally committed here. They may have held a brief hiatus for a stop here, but they now know that the second place could well be theirs, and you never know, they might take a further step forward.
You never know. There's, I think certainly second place is at least on for that car number 1. The lead, I don't know. We'll see. We'll be back on Eurosport in just a couple of moments.
And a very warm welcome to you. We're spread across Eurosport now as we're bidding a farewell to Eurosport 2. We're bridging to Eurosport International. We've had an absolutely thrilling Le Mans 24 hours. If you're only just joining us, then buy the DVD. Unbelievable racing throughout all classes. Absolutely gobsmacking on occasion. The number 1 car of Alexander Wirtz at the moment, the quickest car on track, a 3:22 he's just posted. He just had to make a stop, pitting off second place, a position that he'd actually fought back to take off Lotterer, the 8-car Audi. Rockenfeller is the lead car, but he is crucially a lap clear of Wirtz, who is currently 51 seconds behind the second place car, Lotterer, having had to make a stop. It's straight line speed that it's all about as far as the Peugeot is concerned, that and much more. They've had a decent range which has collapsed because they've been on the push for so many laps here, but in safe hands, certainly it seems, safe and committed hands. Certainly committed if it's in the hands of Anthony Davidson, who the suspicion of a little bit of bullying going on the track. He clearly just didn't care. It was all cards on the table for Peugeot. They just said go for it, every single one of you, and every single one of their drivers has responded.
They have indeed, and if you notice on the in lap there for Alex Wirtz, when he came into the pit lane, what, 3 or 4 minutes ago, he locked him up. There was kind of a chicane on the way into the pits, and we saw on the previous time when Anthony Davidson handed over to Alex Wirtz, Davidson left his braking just a little bit too late, went clattering over the curbs there, and Alex Wirtz almost did the same thing. He certainly locked him up going into that little chicane. So these guys are trying to get every second they can to get themselves, inch themselves closer to that, first of all, that second place car of Andre Lotterer, who's already made one mistake.
So that's just a taster for those of you on Eurosport International. To tell you what's going on Eurosport 2, you can fish around the Eurosport channels with your remote control, and you will find us live throughout here at Le Mans. Yes, we are well and truly installed on Eurosport 2. Nailed to your seats, you certainly should be, because these drivers are producing one of potentially one of the classic finishes of all time. It's certainly been a classic race so far. So much heartbreak throughout all classes.
And that gap between the second and third place cars, between Andre Lotterer in the Audi and Alex Wurz in the Peugeot, back on 11 to 20 minutes ago, the gap between those cars was 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Since then, they've both made a pit stop, or have they? I think maybe actually Andre Lotterer owes us a pit stop.
I think he does.
Yeah, he's about halfway through a stint. But so they're on slightly different strategies, but the gap between those two cars went from 2 minutes 52 to 51 seconds, despite half of that, of course, gained by the fact that Andre Lotterer went off the road, and that cost him about a minute.
Well, Lotterer, I'm not sure whether he's just under pressure or whether it's just one of those things. Deep into a race like this, you can't go 24 hours without having an incident, without having a shaky moment. He had one, he got away with it, he's still in second place, the Peugeot having made its pit stop. But we're still waiting to see how this all spins out, but we believe that the Peugeot, in the hands at the moment of Alexander Wurz, the number one car, is heading for second place as they stand at the moment under current pace and current strategies.
Quite likely. The pace of the two cars at the moment is fairly similar. Wurz a little bit quicker than Lotterer that lap around. Of course, Alex Wurz has still got pretty much a full tank of fuel on board, so he's got 81 litres of diesel fuel on board, whereas Andre Lotterer is getting towards the end of his stint, or he's about 2/3 way through his stint.
Jeremy, on the Eurosport forum, Jack Wood has asked a question. It just says, thanks everyone, I've stayed up all night to watch it, 28 hours for me. Question, what does the winning team and the other teams do with the cars once they've been used for 24 hours? And secondly, more importantly and more pertinently, what are the fuel consumptions of the higher placed cars?
Well, 81, we figured out, if you've got a calculator, I haven't done the maths, but if you've got a calculator, well, it's 81 litres, isn't it? Of fuel on board.
81 litres, 12 laps.
12 laps, so 12 times
13, yeah.
Exactly, so if you can do the maths.
You work it out.
I'm too tired, but if you're up 28 hours, then you're probably tired as well.
But just to let you know, we do have a fuel prize here, the Michelin Green X Challenge, and not surprisingly, it's LMP2 cars that are leading at the moment. The 42 Stracker cars top of that, the Highcross car second, and the Oak Racing Pescarolo third. We're going for a break. Back with you on Eurosport Live.
Welcome back. The camera's absolutely loving the number one car here. It is, of course, a French car, but it's in the hands of Mr. Alexander Wurz at the moment, and he's doing a tremendous job, as you can see, using just about every single inch of the track, and maybe just a little bit more as well. They've been called for shortening the route through some of the more technical sections. They're not the only ones. Audi under pressure as well. Finally, they are out in front. Well, they have been for some time, but Peugeot, it really looked like it was going to be their race. It looked like it had drifted away from us. Audi took control, but Peugeot are battling back here, and we're going to have one heck of a close finish here. Right now, the gap between Lotterer in the 8th car that's running in second place is down to 44.8 seconds, because Wurz is on the push so much. He's actually found it just in the last few minutes. He's I think about the last quarter of an hour, he's actually got a couple of minutes back here and more. It is amazing, the pace. And look at this, the 15 car, that's had its issues as well. Ollie Jarvis running in 7th place and going very, very slow on track. Just pulled into a siding here. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, that's looks like a fairly major problem for Oliver Jarvis. That's a great shame, because Christian Bakkerud, he'd been off the road, wasn't he, a little while ago?
Was in that car number
15.
Yeah.
Then,
yes.
Now he's handed over to Oliver Jarvis, but that is looks like a very time-consuming detour here for Oliver Jarvis. That's a great shame. A great young talent here from England, of course, and he's on his way up through the motorsport ranks. The other guy to keep an eye on, we talked about Alex Wurz turning some stunning laps in 3rd place. The other guy who's going quick, particularly quickly, is Nicolas Lapierre, driving the number 4 Orica Matmut Peugeot. He also is trying to track down one of the Audis. That the battle for 4th place, with Tom Christensen currently in that position in car number 7 in the Audi. But Nicolas Lapierre, he's got that gap between the 4th and 5th place cars down to 55 seconds. And I'll look back through my notes here. Back about 1 hour ago, the gap was 1 minute and 24 seconds. So in an hour, he's pulled up about 30 seconds.
On board with the lead car here, not getting any favours through the field. Everyone's got their racing lines, of course, and they do approach very, very quickly. Just had to dip a wheel off there. But through the sector times, looking very good as we approach the 3 hours to go mark here. It's been 21 hours of racing, and it's been full-on sprint racing from the very start to finish, save for the safety cars, which have peppered this event due to the unfortune of some, Mark Cole.
Yeah, but we are very close to the record distance. We are getting towards that way. 3 hours to go. We needed 1,000 kilometres when we got to the 5.5 hour mark. So I think at the speeds they're doing at the moment, and no more safety cars, there is a possibility we could get towards that. I'll check what the lappage was exactly in a moment. But just looking down there at the overall positions, look at that. Stracker Racing leading GP2 in 9th place. And then even more importantly, look at that number 15th place car, Felbermeyer Porsche GT2. When's the last time we had a GT2 car at Le Mans in the top 15?
Yeah, it's terrific, actually. We've got 3 of them in the top 20, actually. We've got Keely in the Ferrari running in 2nd place in class.